Hi everybody. So you'll notice that your audio and your computer video is off. We will be keeping your audio off for the beginning portion of this event, but please do feel free to show your face if you'd like. I will be taking questions in the chat. Please allow me to write in here so that you can see where it is. So during this presentation, if you have questions that come up that you don't want to forget or that you don't necessarily feel comfortable asking yourself, that's absolutely fine, and I'm happy to convey them at the end to both Dale and Helen. Or at the end of the presentation, you are more than welcome to turn your audio and or video on and ask yourself. I do think that we're going to have a few people pop in late. There was one or two sessions that did run late. So if you see people popping in as we're starting, that's what's going on there. You also should have gotten a notification when you signed on that this video is being recorded, but I did just want to emphasize that again. Your face shouldn't be in it, especially if your camera is off, and we do edit that so that that's the case. I recommend, since this is two people talking, you can do speaker view so that whoever is presenting at the time, you will see on your screen mainly. And that option should be available for you at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You also have the option to pin a video. However, you're going to have to do that a few different times depending on who's talking. But without further ado, to introduce myself, my name is Melody Kern, as you can see on the screen. I am a graduate of 2016, so I'm a goal myself. I've been in the alumni office with Tori Pilbin, who looks like is on this as well, for 4 years. So we've been having a lot of fun, and we've been doing virtual events like this since March, and we have so many this weekend, so hopefully this isn't your first or last. There's so many options for you to sign on for, and we're really appreciative. So just to do a quick introduction, with us today, we have Helen Eaton, the Program Manager for Internship and Career Services. And then we also have Dale McLennan, who I think I wrote your job. Oh, there you are. Yes, I wrote your job description down wrong. I'm so sorry, but if you could just give your title, that'd be great. But I will let you ladies start. And again, please feel free to write questions in the chat section or to ask afterwards. So I will hand it off to these two ladies, and thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Melody, and thanks everyone for attending. I'm Dale McLennan. I'm the Dean of the Internship and Career Center. So I'll kick things off. I want to let you know that what we're planning on doing for our session. We are going to give an overview of the career resources that are available to all of our students, as well as alumni. We serve alumni for life. There's also a session that's going on at 3:30 this afternoon. And that is going to cover also the career resources, but it's going to go into a little bit more depth about our internship program and some updates around that. And then we'll also have a panel of 3 students who will be talking about their internship experience. So I just kind of wanted to clarify those, the difference between the two events. But mostly today we want to, after we talk about the career services and resources, get your questions and answer any questions that you might have. So Helen, if you want to share the screen, we'll just share a few slides with you.
Whoops. Okay, there's number 1.
Okay, we can go to the next one. So, I just wanted to start by mentioning that, we're really proud of some recent accolades that we've gotten, mostly around our internship program. So we've got national recognition from U.S. News and World Report, as well as the National Society of Experiential Education. But I think in addition to the model of 3 internships for credit across all majors that really makes us stand apart, the other piece of it is really the career support that all students get when they're going through this internship process, as well as that they get just in general from the Career Center. So we will kind of share what that support looks like. You can go to the next slide, thanks. And then also just wanted to give a little bit of a snapshot of the career outcomes of our graduates. You can see it may be blocked by, depending on how your screen is set up, but this is the class of 2019. We survey graduates about 6 months after they graduate and compile all these statistics around their employment in graduate school. So for the class of 2019, 98% reported being either employed or in graduate school at the time of the survey. 90% who were employed said that they were working in the field related to their academic program of study. 91% said that their internship helped them make progress towards their career goal. And just to break down that 74% reported being employed full-time and 26% in graduate school. So I show those just because I really think they're a testament to the impact that internship has on our graduates, and certainly 2020 could be look a little different. We will see that soon enough, but we're really proud of the career support that we do provide to our students and alums. So with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Helen if you want to go to the next slide to share some specifics.
So welcome everybody. Great to be with you today. It would be nice to be on campus. It's such a gorgeous day. So hopefully you're all nearby and enjoying this great weather. But so the major, and I think probably the most impactful thing that we do is the individual appointments that we have with students, because they can, we can help hopefully get to the bottom or the heart of their problems and help them with everything from career and major choice to while they're looking for internships and jobs, and just the nitty-gritty of resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn, even Handshake that we use, because it's great if they have a great profile there, grad school advice, interview prep, and part of the way that we do the career exploration is the assessments that we have access to. And SkillScan is a more hands-on one, so we're not using that as much right now, but we have Type Focus and U-Science, which are really wonderful and can really help students just find out what things that they would never have occurred to them that they could do with their interests and abilities. And also just helping them dive into the major once they do have a chosen major, like what can they do with it, all the different possibilities. And a resource that we use and that is great for alums is the NEST, which is a mentoring program. And it's just for Endicott current students and alums as well. And we have two different options in there. We have a flash mentoring program, and then about 8 months long, I think it's beginning in November, where you apply to be a mentor or to get a mentor, and that's a wonderful program. And then we use Handshake, is where we post internships, jobs, events that are happening. And now that there are so many virtual events, we're sharing events from other schools, and students can take advantage of so many great free opportunities that are out there, and alums as well, because you have Handshake too. And if you've been out long enough and you don't have Handshake, you can reach out to us. We'll make sure you have an account. And then our goal guide is like soup to nuts of everything to do with looking for a job, networking, how to write a cover letter, good words to use, examples of resumes, just thank you notes, just beginning to end right there. And then Interview Stream is another tool that we use, which is so important right now. Students can practice doing an interview, and they can either create one for themselves, or there are a bunch of interviews that are already been created. You pick a field or a type of job, and then you can watch yourself and see how you do and how you answer questions, and if you maybe say too many times or something like that, which possibly I'm doing right now. But it's a really helpful tool that they can use. So that's a lot of stuff, but a quick overview for you. Let me see. Oh, and this is something new, a campaign that we just started to help our recent grads. So we've reached out to say, are you interested in being part of this? And if you are, send us a photo of yourself and then fill out these questions. You know, or just tell us what you're looking for, what area, and then students can use it on their own LinkedIn page or however they want to use it to let people know. But it's nice and it's professional looking, and it was just other schools are doing something similar as well, and we just wanted to see how we could help our current grads. Let's see. And that's it. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Goals at Work to see, you know, what's going on currently. And I'm going to stop sharing so we can see people or questions that may have been asked.
I just wanted to reemphasize something that Helen said, is that, you know, all of these resources that she's shown and kind of briefly described, everything that's available to students is also available to alumni. So these are all things that alums can access as well, mostly via our website, but we can certainly talk more about that if you have any specific questions about the resources or anything about the job search. So we'll go ahead and take questions.
Great, so we didn't have any questions come through yet. I think everyone was just listening in on the presentation, but everyone, I would love to welcome you now to turn on your video or your audio, and Dale and Helen are happy to answer any questions you might have about internships, jobs, whether it's for yourself, your student, anything like that.
If anyone has any questions about just the negotiating a job search in this current climate, I mean, we've been really working with recent grads as well as students who are looking for internships, as well as alumni who, you know, may be looking to do something new. And really, as you can imagine, networking is important anytime that you're in a job search, but we're really kind of coaching students and alums a lot more on how to use their network, how to reach out, and maybe ask for small things, like, you know, reach out to your network and maybe ask for a few minutes to chat about what they're doing in their profession, to do like a brief informational interview, just to kind of get some connections going. You don't have to ask for anything major at this time. Helen, I don't know if you want to add to that. I know you're seeing a lot of alums and students as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big piece of what I'm saying. More than ever, your network is critical at this point, and expanding it is so valuable. And I do think that people, you know, everybody's been impacted with these past few months. So I do feel like mostly people are willing to chat or share their story, for sure, as long as you're not just coming right out and say, I need a job. What can you do to help me? Just see, and who, you know, you can help them as well. As a student, there, you know, most people are really happy to help, and as an alum, or just being curious. I think that's really important. Genuinely curious about someone's role or about the company they work for is important.
So one question I think that could come from that, one that, you know, working at Endicott, for example, I see a lot, which is slightly different, but when people reach out to you that you have no connection to, they're in the same industry, but you've never met them, you've never worked at the same place, you have no shared connections. You know, I get a lot of those from, you know, people in higher ed, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think for students or even alums, that could perhaps be confusing. Do you recommend, specifically on LinkedIn or just in general, trying to network with people that you have no connection to. And I guess that there would be a difference between this is my dream company and I'm trying to connect with the hiring manager, and you have it the same industry and we also live on the same half of the country. What is your feedback on that, especially when right now networks are so important?
One of the things I would do is put in an extra plug for the NEST, which is the mentoring program that Helen just mentioned. So that's Endicott alumni who have specifically volunteered to connect with other alums as well as students. So even though that might not be someone that you know that they've specifically volunteered to do this, to be contacted. So that's a warm connection that you would have. So anyone who's an Endicott student or an alum, I would absolutely encourage them to stop there, number one. And I would say, yeah, Melody, to your point about reaching out to people that you don't know, like if you're specific enough about what it is you're asking for. So if you're asking somebody for advice or information, like just to share their story, most people are going to say yes to that because that's really not a big ask, right? Most people like to talk about themselves. Okay. So if you're just, if you're genuinely curious, as Helen said, about, the field that they're in, the job that they're doing, and you have a reason for reaching out to them. I've followed what you are doing in your career. Looks really interesting to me. That's something that I've really been thinking a lot about. Would you have 10 minutes just to share how you got there, what you like about your job, what a day in a life is? Like, most people are going to say yes to that unless they're just too busy. So I don't know if you have something to add to that, Helen.
I was just thinking too, we tell students, like, say if there's a company you really love, follow that company, not just maybe people in the company, and then see what they're writing, see if they're posting articles or something, and read it so that you have an intelligent comment to make. And then it takes a lot of work, but it will be fruitful eventually. And just making a comment, then maybe you warm up to asking, to have a chat or a phone call or something like that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Another question that we had come in, do you guys have specific COVID-friendly tips for getting a new job at this time? To sort of add to that, I know people in my personal network who've gotten jobs that are based out of Chicago that they never would have applied for, but with the promise that they can work remotely pretty much for good now, companies seem to be moving towards that. So maybe there's some new strategies people are using when they're searching that aren't local, or just kind of being sensitive to what's happening right now when applying.
I do think recognizing what's been going on, like if you're writing a letter or something, definitely saying, hope that you have been well during this and I understand what's going on, just being empathetic and considerate too. But yeah, the whole remote thing, it's opened up so many possibilities for people that you don't just have to look within your geographic region. And we do have a lot of resources for finding those type of jobs. So if somebody would want to email, I could share that, our list that posts those.
The other sort of strategy, the COVID strategy, for lack of a better word, is, even though some industries have just been impacted incredibly negatively with everything that's going on, there are some industries that are, quite frankly, flourishing. So sometimes it's really just doing some research to find out what is doing well right now, and can the skill set that you have that maybe you've been using in one area, in one industry, can that sort of pivot to something that's an industry that's doing a little bit better. And that's where those informational interviews come in. So if you've been working in the hospitality industry, which has been really so hard hit, make a shift into, say, medical device sales. I don't know, I'm just kind of coming up with something off the top of my head. Talking to somebody who's doing that kind of work and sort of explaining sort of why you're thinking of making that shift, and getting some tips about, well, how do you get into that particular career field? What professional organizations might I follow, or things like that. So that's just another tip, I guess I'd call it.
That's an awesome tip. Thank you. Yeah, and I have friends in the hospitality field, and they're definitely trying to figure out how to pivot because they know that there's going to be no large scale events anytime soon. Another question that just came in, how can students work with a career center right now? Can they just walk in? Do they need to sign up? And what's the best way for them to work with you guys?
So all our appointments are on Zoom right now. We are physically at the school in our offices, and but yet we're supposed to meet on Zoom. So the easiest way is if it's a student and everybody has a Handshake account, they could just make an appointment via Handshake, or they could email if they're having any troubles with Handshake, just reach out to us.
Yeah, I found the Zoom appointments are working really well. I was a little not liking the idea of it when it first started because I like meeting individually with people and face to face. But Zoom has worked really, really well, I think. And it's easy to share, documents if we're looking at a resume without, piling onto one laptop. And anyway, I found it to be a positive experience.
That's super helpful. Awesome. Thank you. And I guess one last question we have. Oh, here's another one. Thank you for this presentation. What kind of presence do you feel the students need to have on social media, if any? Their freshman son is not a social media fan, which they understand, but they want to know, could this negatively impact opportunities, which I'm interested to hear the answer as well, because I think that could go both ways. So whatever you guys think on that.
Well, it's better to not have anything than have something that's really bad. I remember my son was applying to colleges, and I looked at his Facebook page. I'm like, oh boy, we've got a lot of cleaning up to do. So that's good. But I do think a first place that an employer or LinkedIn, I would say, if you don't want anything, definitely have LinkedIn, because there you could just put a nice professional photograph. We even have chances at school for students to get that photograph done. So they have something nice, and then they could upload their resume or just put in a few things just so somebody, I think if you're nowhere, that's a little bit tricky. So at least have LinkedIn. I don't know, Dale, do you have a different thought?
No, I agree with you 100%, because LinkedIn just doesn't require the amount of engagement that some of the other social media platforms do, and just the vibe of it is so much different. But employers they do look there, so I think they expect to see a presence, even of students, even of our younger students. So it is really important, and we can certainly in our office coach students through like how to fill out their profile well and what to put on there, and just to get it up and running. And then how they engage with it, just depends on their level of interest. But I love it. It's a great site. Yeah.
And I think they do that in their first course with their internship class. That'll be part of that class, which is great.
Yeah.
So one more question I have, unless anyone else is going to be typing in. So all of these services, I know you guys mentioned that you work with alumni as well. I think we have a lot of parents on the call today, a few alumni. I think many of them have, current students, of course, but once those students graduate, what does that look like for them in terms of working with you? Are there resources that you think a lot of alums don't know about or aren't taking advantage of? Kind of what's your advice for that post-college support?
We're here, like Dale mentioned, you've got us for life. And we've had everybody from a couple years out to 20 years out reach out, or maybe even more. So we're definitely here to help. Our resources, like Dale mentioned, are available to everybody. So yeah, come on back to the nest.
I will say, so Handshake, that's the platform that we use where employers post jobs specifically for Endicott students and alums. That's a really valuable resource, and it covers jobs of all levels and all geographic locations. It's it's a really good site. So I would say for alums, particularly who are a few years out, like employers definitely use that to post those kinds of jobs. But yeah, definitely use this. As I said, all of our resources are available. I think a lot of times alums don't know about interviews. They may know if they were recent alums, they probably know about Handshake because we push that so much when they're students, but they may not know about the Nest because it's brand new, or they may not know about Interview Stream for practice interviewing if they didn't have exposure to it. So yeah, we could probably do a better job of getting all that out there to alums to make sure they know, because they're really great resources.
Well, thank you so much, you two. I don't think we have any other questions. If anyone wants to pop on their video or into the chat, there is still time for that. But otherwise, I just want to thank you both so much. You know, we love working with your office, and we think it's awesome that, you know, students and alums alike have such an awesome resource through you. You know, Endicott, as we know, internships are huge, and you know, we're so proud of knowing how prepared students are when they leave the nest. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who joined. We're so appreciative of you participating in this. If you have any questions that you think up after this is over today, please feel more than free to reach out to myself, to the internships office. You can, you know, find all that contact information through our website on the directory. For me, it's mkern@endicott.edu. And you can also reply to the email that you got, your confirmation email for this event today. But if no one has any other questions, I think that we'll end it off here. And again, say thank you so much to both of you and to everyone for joining. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and your day. I don't know if you guys had anything else that you wanted to say, but.
No, just reiterate, thank you for participating. Please reach out to us. If you, an easy email to remember if you have a question that pops up is the careers email. So it's careers@endicott.edu, and that goes to our admin, and she will shoot it off to the right person. So feel free to reach out anytime with questions, comments. Thanks so much. Thanks, Melody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.